frozen or is me?
We're live. Thank you guys for coming back and doing it this way.
Yeah. Murph is frozen in time again.
It's usually where he likes to be.
Yeah.
I think the song just was a little too much for him.
Oh, now he's moving again. Ohio internet. Oh, there he is. He's moving. There you are. I see you. I see you, boo.
Maybe. He's keeping us on our toes.
Right? No. Like, no, I don't want to. Oh, there. Oh, shoot. Look at that. High def right there.
Did you go? Did you? Yeah. Did you switch over from your dial-up?
Yeah.
Yeah, I had to. It was
someone on the phone? Was someone on the phone? Someone call in, that's why?
Yeah, I was like, hang up the phone, Mom.
Yeah.
I'm live with my friends, Mom.
Mom, I'm IMing on AOL.
Yeah.
Leave me alone. Okay, wait. Real talk before we get into my bangs, because I know that's a hot topic. This is the first time I'm revealing them, by the way. But what was your guys' AOL name? You guys had one, right? No, because you live in Canada?
No, we had yeah, I think so. No, we had AOL in Canada, but I don't know.
Did you have one, Murph?
I did. I don't know. I don't remember. I think it was Drum Murph.
Ooh, that's good. Rolls off your tongue.
Drum Murph 7-2 or something like that. Yeah.
Little drummer boy.
Did you guys? Well, I don't. You guys may not have known this, but there was a site called Asian Avenue before, and I was on Asian Avenue. You've been on it, yeah.
Sounds like it's a different kind of site now.
Yeah,
these days, probably.
Yeah. I was Drummer Boy on that.
Ooh, Drummer Boy.
Drummer Boy.
Mine was
Boy.
BOI.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mine was Shea Butterby.
Shea Butterby.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm.
Now it can be Shea Bangs.
Come on, Murph, sing the song.
Shea Bangs and She Bangs.
Shea Bangs.
Yes, I did it. I
love it.
But I gave it a lot of thought. Usually I make rash decisions, like when it comes where I want to do something different. But yeah, I thought a lot about it and it's fun. I learned though that I have a cowlick, so it falls a little funny. So it's going to take time, I think, to kind of train it a little bit, but it's fun doing something different.
You just enunciated cowlick. You made it you enunciated it. I mean, it's normally just colic. A colic.
But now
like colic.
Yeah, you're a cowlicky baby.
Like colic. Colic.
Oh, funny.
Not colic, but colic.
A cowlick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, sorry to totally interrupt everything. What were you guys talking about before I got on? Or was it just about me?
Yeah, we were making fun a little bit.
Yeah, we were talking about how I hope Shea doesn't have bangs when she comes on.
Yeah.
That would be really...
Sorry to disappoint.
No, they look good. I like it.
Thanks.
Caught me off guard.
I know I did. Well, because I've been trying to take pictures to share it, but I think I'm just still getting used to it. So I feel like I haven't been able to get a picture that I like. I'm like, so that's why I haven't shared it. But I'm like, I'm coming on tonight and maybe it's just an adjustment. I feel like they do make me look a little smarter.
You need the glasses.
Let's see. I do have some glasses right here. Now I look like Wilma or
Velma.
Velma from Scooby-Doo.
I like it. I like it.
Well, do you guys have any non-scale victories? Mine's obviously my bangs.
I got some. It's been a very big week for me.
It has been.
Yeah. So since last week, so yeah, there was a job that I had been working on for the past year and a half, and there were some delays on certain things, and it didn't come to fruition last year. And Anna sees your bangs, and it ended up working out, and so the company I have been with pretty much for quite a long time, since university actually. I handed in my notice, and so I am officially leaving that company, but I will be a sales manager for Canada for this new company, which is going to be pretty damn awesome. And on top of that, my website for transform bodybuilding or transform bariatric bodybuilding is about 95% done.
Woo, woo.
So I was going to actually post something tonight. I will post it tomorrow because the website just needs some tweaking. But at least to introduce Transform, which is the name of the company that I have. And then, yeah, we're going to start taking on clients to begin the day after radical body transformation. So I did set a limit for myself in terms of how many clients I am willing to take, and I am 40% to that capacity already, and I haven't even launched. So it is pretty exciting. I'm going to be launching some really, really big promotions that I've been able to work out with some people who I'm very close to, including radical body transformations as well as amino balls. And so, yeah, it's going to be super exciting. I will post something tomorrow. So yeah, and because of this new job, I have also been trying to line up my new vehicle because I have to return my company car, but I was able to finalize it, and it is marked as sold. So I am going to be driving my new vehicle soon.
What is it? Can you tell us?
It is. I can. It is a. It is.
It is.
It is a Ford F-150 Lariat hybrid.
Ooh,
like fully loaded. Yeah, I've wanted one for a while. I hunt, I fish, I camp. We have our trailer. We snowboard, we ski.
You like Coors Light?
I love Coors Light. I shoot my guns in the air and stuff. And so, yeah, there's a lot of really, really cool things.
What color? That's the most. I don't care about like really what it is. What color is it?
Yeah, it is antimatter blue, which is friggin' awesome. It looks black, and then when it hits the light in the sun, it shimmers this navy, which looks friggin' awesome.
Is that what you're gonna get me and Dylan from the airport in? Your new whip?
Oh, it depends. I'm hoping it's gonna get delivered by then. If not, you're getting picked up in like a minivan that I have to rent for the week. And you guys drive people around, but yeah. So between the website, between the company launch, between the promotions, between the new job, yeah, lots of stuff. And then on top of that, I am currently I have met. As of yesterday, I have met my competition weight. So I'm coming in actually. Yeah. So I am officially, and I haven't even depleted yet. I'm going to come in significantly better than where I was at any of my other shows. So I'm super pumped. It's been a good couple weeks. It's been a good time for sure.
That's awesome. I know. I think that's just what's connected with me this week is like, I think, well, it's been thinking about your journey too, because let me ask you this. When you did your first competition, did you kind of think like, oh, this is my peak in that time?
Yeah. I've hit many peaks. Like my first peak was, that's the thing. That's why I love this journey. That's why I'm so passionate about watching others and being part of their journey if they do this, because my peak was when I got skin removal surgery. Because when I got skin removal surgery, I was just like, I'm never like, this is
as good as it gets.
As good as it gets, right? So I'm going to get skin removal surgery. This is where I'm going to be. And then I didn't think I would get to this physical shape, beefcake form. And then it's just like, okay, well, this is the best I can be. And then a few months later, I bettered that, and I was better than that after, and now I'm better again. And so it's that constant transformation and reinvention of yourself. And I think it really manifests in so many other areas of my life now, and everything is really just coming together, which is awesome because, you know, just last week we were celebrating everything coming together for Murph. And so I'm happy that it's coming together for all of us. You got bangs, she bangs, and it's a good time. Shea bangs.
Does Ricky Martin still tour? Because if so, that would be a really
I saw him in concert
in 1999 or what?
Yesterday.
Oh, okay, perfect. That would be a fun show.
Would it? Yeah,
I would have fun.
So, I feel like I saw a video recently of him on stage being very inappropriate, laying down on the stage.
Oh.
And it went kind of viral for like a minute, for like a day.
Oh, okay.
And it was really bad.
Too bad. I mean, that would still be fun in its own respect, I suppose. But
anybody else see that video? I don't know. Was that just me, or is that just?
I want you though.
You know who's another?
No, you don't want to see it.
No,
it was bad. It was. Yeah.
Yeah. You know who's another one where it's so sad to watch is Bon Jovi. I don't know if you've seen any of his recent stuff, but like, oof.
I would still see him live. I would still see Bon Jovi live.
I need to show you the video I saw because I don't know if you would.
I do always.
Okay.
In leather pants. Everyone, please start throwing in all these amazing NSVs. I will share one right now in the chat. Bariatric Warrior. She has yeeted her uterus. Congratulations. Congratulations, Steph. Glad you are on the mend here and you're joining us tonight. Hello, Netta. Hello, Anna. Hello, everyone who is on here. Oh, I just noticed your ring. I just noticed your ring while looking at the delay in Instagram. I'm like, wow, that's very nice.
My ring?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So if you need to punch someone.
Yeah.
Yeah, in the uterus. Get her. Get her. Yeet that.
Yeet that. What about you, Murph? Yeah, did you have an NSV?
I went down a notch in my belt.
Hey, that's cool.
Been super active lately, trying to eat healthy. I know what to do. You know, I've had some regain, and I know the steps. I know what it takes.
Yeah.
I know what, you know.
So, but also just the stress alone, like now as like the stress lessens, I bet you'll just notice even just like inflammation in your body kind of settle down.
Yeah.
Do you think do you even just since you moved, I mean, you guys are still getting settled and stuff, but do you feel like that just like your body is less stressed than it was?
Oh, absolutely. I guess another NSV is that I've not had to take melatonin in a long time.
Oh, wow. Nice.
Like since we moved, I've not really needed help sleeping.
Wow, that's awesome.
I'm sleeping through the night. I'm sleeping flat on my back, which is always the most comfortable for me. I'm not tossing and turning, and I'm getting a full 8-9 hours of sleep.
Ooh, sheesh, that's good.
It feels really, really good. The past couple 3 days, I think I've gotten up at like 4 a.m.
Past couple 3 days, like 6 days. Is that 6 days?
Past couple 3. Like the 3. Like I think Monday night, Tuesday night, and last night. Well, okay, yeah. So Sunday, Monday. The last 3 nights in a row, it was like 4:30, like almost. At the exact time, it was like 4:47, 4:36. It was really weird, but then I'm able to go back to sleep just fine. I've not needed melatonin, but I think it's because, and I'm okay with it because once I start working, my shift will start at 6 a.m. So I'll have to get up at 4:30.
Yeah,
I'm cool with starting to train my body for 4:30 anyway. So one day I did get up and just get my coffee and get my day started yesterday. But today I went back to bed and got up at like 9.
Nice. Me and you, Murph, we need our sleep. We need our beauty rest. We're the king and queen of sleep. And Rob is the puppet.
I'm the puppet. Nope, there's no sleeping over here.
Don't do what he does. Sleep is so important.
It is, guys. Don't do Rob. Well, you know.
Hey,
Fiona.
Hey.
he bangs. He bangs.
He bangs. He bangs. Oh my god.
Well, it's almost
Did
9
you
o'clock.
guys got bells, right?
I have yours. I need to send it to you, Murph.
Oh, because I went and I got one, and I don't know if it's okay for the show. I think
Yours is
Yeah,
like
there
the
you go.
little
We're
baby.
harmonizing. It's good.
yeah. So
No, I have to send it to you. I was gonna wait till you moved and got settled, and that's on my
Okay.
list.
I just haven't had a chance to ring it yet, but I mean, we got some non-scale victories. That when you guys are doing it, I caught a couple happy hours that I missed. I was watching, but it seemed like you guys are ringing bells.
Yeah,
for,
I know.
for
Yes,
damn near everything.
I know.
Yeah.
We did go a little
really
overkill
excited.
with the bell initially. We've tapered it back, but I do think we need to incorporate the bell more again.
Yeah, we didn't do it last week at all, and I was ready.
I
and
know.
I forgot, so I was just
I know.
mentioning. We've
Yes.
got 15 minutes, or no, it's 9 o'clock. Shoot.
Yeah, but so next time we will do the bell.
Non-scale victories for everybody.
Woo!
All right, I wanted to use my bell.
You
Yes.
use it. You use it.
Awesome. Well, we have a really special guest. I'm so excited to have Fiona on. But first, we are going to do sexy time music because if we don't, people get mad.
Yeah.
So we're going to do sexy
True.
time music. And also, if we don't do sexy time music, Murph's bladder gets mad. So we don't want to do that either.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Also true.
So sexy time music. And then we'll come back and we're going to
Okay.
have Fiona on.
In
Okay.
3, 2. Wait, whoa, too early.
I
Go.
gotta go.
In this moment, yes, I cannot say what's wrong or right. No, it's not hard to fool me. No, 'cause I'm addicted to the good life. Yes. Yeah, lead the way, I follow. No need to say. Where we are heading now, babe, I follow to the edge of it all, to the edge of it all. So tell your good night, 'cause I'll find no better one, yeah. Susceptible now, before the moment flies. Ooh, so tell you good night, 'cause I'll find a better one. Ooh, susceptible now, before the moment flies. It's not a problem, no, 'cause I know what I'm getting into. Yes. Yeah, and nothing can stop me. No, 'cause I'm addicted to what you and I realize. Lead the way, I follow. No need to say. Where we are heading now, babe, I follow to the edge of it all. So tell your good night, 'cause I'll find a better one, yeah. Susceptible now, before the moment flies, before it flies.
Hey, I'm Murph. I don't know if anybody can hear me or not, but I can't hear anything.
Oh, well, hello. It's Shea, and we can hear you, Murph, but you can't hear us. That's fun.
I can hear you.
I hear you, boo. This is
Oh, hey,
Rob.
Rob.
Hey, and welcome to the
Hey.
Waiting Table Podcast. Yay!
What's up? We were
Hi.
We had everything working fine. You're good, right?
I couldn't hear the intro music or like the countdown or anything, but I just went with it, and I'm glad you could hear me. So we're here. Yay!
Yay! I like it. Oh, it's the bell. Awesome. Thanks, guys, for joining us on another episode of the Waiting Table Podcast, where we have roundtable discussions about the hottest topics in weight loss with, of course, the coolest people from the bariatric community. I'm Rob. We got Murph. We got Shea. And, of course, we got you guys. So grab a chair, wind down from your busy day, and take a seat at the table. Murph, how's it going, buddy?
It's going really good. I'm excited for this guest. Got to meet her at the JBYs a couple years ago and enjoy some pizza and just chill and hang out, and she's great, and I'm just really excited to have her on the show tonight. So Shea, how you been?
Good. I've been banging things out left and right, you know.
Oh, I see what you did there.
I know what's going on.
No, but things are good. No, I'm so excited to have Fiona on tonight. And before we bring her on, just a fun little story about her. Don't worry, Fiona. I would never share like incriminating details.
All of it.
No, but fun fact about Fiona is she went to the same bariatric program that I went to and got her surgery before I did. And so the first time I'd ever heard about Fiona was when I was prepping. And I remember distinctly Dylan and I were driving, I think to Sacramento for something, maybe a concert or something. And I was like getting prepared. We'd scheduled the date and everything for my surgery. And I was just trying to find all the content I could. And one of the things that I found was the bariatric program that we went to had a podcast where Fiona was a guest on it. And so that was the first time that I had heard about her and heard her story. And so she was one that fast forward later getting to meet her and stuff. It was like, you were one of the first people. So that's pretty cool. So with that long introduction, I'll let her share more of her story and whatnot, but I'll bring Fiona to the stage. Hello.
Hi.
Hey.
I told you I wouldn't give any bad stories. Just all the good stuff.
I kind of forget that I've been chronically online since 2017 and other people have been watching.
Yeah, it's wild. You're one of the veterans.
And also, I hate that interview. I wish they'd let me redo it because I gave that interview, what was I, like a year out?
Things change.
But that's
yeah.
Okay. That's what's
I'm 6.5 years out now, and I have listened to it a couple times over the years, and I laugh in delight because I was both very wrong and very right throughout that entire interview.
Yeah.
But that's part of learning and growing. And that was a snapshot of time of where you were at. And like, I think that's really cool. And it helped me. Honestly, I don't even remember what you said because it was a while ago. Hopefully that makes you feel better. I just remember really liking you and learning a lot in the time and being like, great, someone else who went to the same program and who's doing well. That was what I got out of it.
I think the main thing that didn't change is that the mindset and mental health part is, as much as we're talking about it more now than we were in 2019, it cannot be undersold. We focus so much on the surgical aspects while missing so much of the holistic parts of this journey. And it's very easy to focus on the mechanics of macros and then absolutely lose the fucking point of this entire journey, guys.
Yeah. Nope.
100%.
So well said. And Fiona, for those that don't know you, and maybe this is the first time that they're meeting you, can you just kind of give your little stats rundown, who you are, what you had, just some of those details before we kind of dive in?
So, I mean, the long and short of it is I am the girl who has been in every phase. So I'm 5'5". I've been 375 pounds. I've been 130 pounds. And then I now sit around 180 to 190. And all of that is just a very short glimpse of life, both pre-surgery. I lost 100 and so pounds many times on my own, had the surgery, was extremely successful, lost 140 pounds, was able to have my very healthy baby, and then struggled with regain and things afterwards that I was so cocky about until it became time to experience it for myself. And
Mhm.
now here I am on the other side of that with a very healthy toddler. About 50%, I've lost about 40 of the 80 I regained.
Wow.
And it's definitely a struggle. And for those of us who can't afford or access or whatever GLP-1s, cheers, man, because it feels like we're the only ones without some sort of like boost in this race. And it is exhausting.
Hmm. Truly.
One
Yeah.
grueling pound at a time.
Hmm.
But
Yeah.
the tool still works.
Mhm.
I paid $7,000 in 2019, and I can confirm it has not grown back.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's different, but it does work. A large part of it, though, is the first year you can rely on the tool to do a
Yeah.
lot of the lifting.
Hmm.
And then after the second to third year, I was in maintenance mode and I got cocky. I really did.
Hmm.
And then life changed.
Hmm.
And that's where I failed to set myself up properly. Because as much as you can't get ready for a baby, I think everybody for the most part has either had children or tried to. They know like you can't really prepare for it, but you think you can.
Hmm.
Um, but not only that, I didn't set myself up for when it wasn't just always going to be this easy.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think
And
it's kind of like having kids too. You don't know what you don't know, and you can try to prepare for it, but it's not until you experience it for yourself and see,
oh,
oh, there's a lot more involved, and it is hard.
I had to go back and archive stuff, guys. I have stuff from my first year that was stanky about people's regain, and now I am eating some words. I was all about you regain because you get lazy. You regain because you didn't work it. You regain. It's not going to happen to me because I've done the work. I woke up at 223 pounds, guys, and I was pissed.
Yeah. But I think that's part of the learning and again, kind of what I was saying before. It's like learning and growing and being able to, you know, change what, like, it's okay to change your mind. And I think that's something I've always loved and appreciated about you, Fiona, is like you are a really strong person and you have very strong viewpoints, but you're not afraid to admit when it's like, oh, yeah, I saw it a different way then
Oh,
compared to now. And I'm learning, you know, just like we all are.
if
Mhm.
you aren't slightly embarrassed by who you were 2 years ago, then I'm really sorry that you stagnated that hard.
Yeah,
I hope you
right.
reflect on that. I really do.
Yeah.
But that's one thing I've learned is that if you're going to pivot, you're going to change. And if you're not, then that's probably dangerous, especially in this
Mhm.
journey, guys.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Everything you thought you knew is wrong and right.
Mhm.
So it's,
Full circle.
it's full circle. And then you add on top of it, for those of us in the community that, I walked in knowing I had PTSD and an eating disorder. I did not know about my raging autism and ADHD. Basically,
Mhm. Mhm.
I have a little bit of both. I'm spicy like that. And for my loved ones, once I got the diagnosis, they were a little like, "Oh, sweetie, you didn't know? That's cute." But for me, I was gobsmacked because I
Yeah.
am a woman who, I had a successful career in social work. I had successful weight loss surgery. I have a family, and you're telling me that the reason it seems a little harder is because I'm literally wired a little weirder than the rest of
Yeah.
everyone
Mhm.
else. That
Mhm.
that kind of kicked me in the shins, but it it helps understand the roots of the food noise and the
Yes.
dopamine
Mhm.
and the obsessing, and it can really help. And again, I feel like people do and don't talk about, it's not fair when you're wired a little differently, and that's not going to change with the surgery.
Right.
Mhm. Yeah, can you walk us through that process a little bit of what made you start looking into getting diagnosed and because that's a pretty common sentiment I hear for a lot of people is getting diagnosed with ADD, attention deficit disorder, or ADHD, attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. So can you walk us through that a little bit of what kind of, was there like a moment that made you go, maybe I should look into this?
Well, for me, it was part of putting together puzzles. I already was very pro therapy and in therapy before, during, and after surgery. I cannot express enough. If you're going to invest in the surgery, invest in the tools to make it successful.
Yeah.
And therapy is one of those things, like a dietitian is another one that I recommend if you can afford it, but especially therapy. at the very least, talk to your chat GPT guys, like anything. I'll give you some prompts, like anything. Because you can't navigate this with the same mindset and wiring you went in with.
For sure.
It won't work. It won't. I've watched it time and time again. I did it myself. So for me, this was part of, I have some very extreme trauma diagnoses that we were figuring out. And so my psychologist was also, in navigating some of those symptoms, we put together the neurodiversity pieces. And that helped explain why I wasn't responding to some of the meds and some of the therapies the same that we were expecting, why some of the trauma processed the way it did. It actually was kind of that final little piece of the puzzle to make sense and kind of help put the formula together about why things just weren't quite the same for me as apparently as it was everyone else. The whole classic childhood sign of feeling like you're an alien or something. I had that. I have the one where I think I just peopled wrong.
Mm-hmm.
So like I didn't feel like an alien. I just was kind of dumb and didn't understand the rules. That's why I didn't people right.
Mm-hmm.
And it turns out that is a very classic sign. So if you remember growing up constantly feeling like you were just kind of peopling wrong, you might want to double check on how high masking you might be. Because again, the community sometimes with neurodiversity gets represented by people that maybe are a little bit more profound or less masking, which is great. They need to be seen and not hidden away in society. But it also can make it sometimes easy to miss those of us who just like swim among you that might be harder to notice. Now, I've spent a lot of years also unmasking, so I'm a little bit more comfortable being kind of weird in public than I used to be. So people over the years kind of pick up like, oh, that's just Fiona. She's a little quirky like that. Yeah. But it's a long, long road. And it's also linked to why I ate so much, not only neurologically why I was driven to food, but also the trauma that keeps you eating when you can't be yourself and it's stressful to navigate the world.
Yes.
And you can't do drugs because that just makes it worse. So, you end up turning to food. And that's where, again, I feel like enough people don't walk into the surgery ready to admit that, like, I have a disordered, addictive, inappropriate relationship with food that I will work on for the rest of my life. If I didn't, I wouldn't have had to rearrange my organs.
Yeah.
And that was a hard thing for me to admit. It was something I had to admit to myself in therapy before I had the surgery. And it sounds so dramatic. And when I say these statements, people always backlash at me eventually and tell me that I'm so dramatic or so over the top. But I say these over the top things because I wanted to get through to people. If you are not ready to really examine your wiring and your mindset and your relationship with food, then save your money. Don't do this. Try something else. And I think there's a lot of us on the other side, especially more than a couple years out, who will tell you that habits may change, but the brain rewiring takes a long time. And I don't say that to be depressing, because honestly, it's easier now for me than it was 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 5 years ago, as much as there's still things I'm working on. So I don't want to make it sound all doom and gloom, like this is your suffering forever. But, I am someone who struggled to wipe myself and shower myself by myself properly. And now I have a child that I can keep up with. So it's not all doom and gloom. It can get better. Is it, difficult when it feels like meal prepping and things just don't come as easy? Yeah, sure. And they don't. And so I've learned tricks and half steps to a lot of that. Full routine meal prepping like you need for shows, that is some dedication. My brain will riot and be like, oh, rice again? Then I'm just not going to eat. Yeah. Like, it won't, the repeats. So I've just learned a lot of, I call it crock pot prepping. So I have a lot of frozen meals chopped and prepped and seasoned in bags that go straight in the crock pot per my mood that day.
Yeah.
So that way I don't have excuses of, I don't feel like this. Go pull it from the drawer. We keep a lot of pre-sliced, easy-to-reach food, both for the toddler to make healthy choices, but this toddler to make healthy choices. Because the lazier and easier you make it for yourself, the better. Being somebody who's very on a budget, these supplements and proteins are great. And if you're an athlete or just beginning, you probably need them a lot more than somebody in my journey, but don't fall for it either. You don't need to
Yes.
be eating Quest chips every day. You don't have to protein lace everything you eat. You can get it from the food, and it's a lot
Mhm.
cheaper.
Yep.
So again, spend your money on the vitamins.
Yes. This like so this is just amazing to hear in the sense that like everyone is going through their own challenges, and as you know, we said this when Shay passed her first year mark, and I had said that this is one of the things I'm most excited about is seeing how you change and adapt after that first year when things aren't, you know, even just the outlook on life is everything is amazing. I'm on a, you know, everything is happening, all this great stuff's happening, and it still is, it still can, but now it's a bit more active in regards to you and how you are making that change, as opposed to the tool is really dictating a lot of that change. And that's where the challenges I found for me, and that's where I see a lot of people either struggling or really growing because of how they're able to take what they've learned within that first year and prepared for year 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And, you know, all those things that you're saying in regards to, you know, these little tricks that you use it's you being very attentive to and honest with what works for you, right? And I think that's so important because it's nothing's just going to be easy ever, right? And you always will have to work at it and make it easier, make it work for you, right?
This is also the harshest lesson I learned in my regain around year 4, so year 4 to 5, which is also around the baby. And I blame him for a lot of it, but honestly, a lot of it
I blame
it
my
was a
kids for
third,
everything.
right? At the end of it,
If you can't do that, why have them?
Yeah, that's the
right.
only reason.
But
I had
if I'm being honest, in those 80 pounds, about a third of it was the medication, a third of it was the pregnancy, a third of it was me. And so, you know, you have to take accountability for what's yours, but also, you know, you have to forgive yourself what's out of your control. The SSRIs that saved my life made me pack on weight. I am not upset that I took them because I needed them for my postpartum depression, and they're part of why I'm here. But it sucked to watch it happen, and you just have to accept it because there are going to be times in your life that the weight is not going to be the biggest fish to fry too. And that's also a hard thing. Like when the regain comes from all the stress and all the things in life and all the moving, and you have to kind of check on yourself and see, I know this is happening, but maybe, just maybe for right now, let's give this 2 more weeks. The danger in that for me is when I did my regain, I started to slip up and I stopped treating it with the same attitude I did when I went into this. So to me, when I finally beat obesity and the weight came off of me and I was free, I treated obesity like lung cancer. So I knew to keep it in check, I was going to be moving my body. I was going to be eating my protein. I was going to be drinking my water. And I was never going to, when I stopped treating it like a disease that was waiting to come back, it did. And that's the biggest lesson I think this far out I would give everybody that's newer is, again, I don't want to doom and gloom and scare you, but if you don't rewire yourself and put these habits and change your life and put these things into motion, into permanent place into your lifestyle, obesity is like a tumor just waiting to come back, and it will. It doesn't matter if you've had plastics. It doesn't matter if you're a success story. It doesn't matter how many brands are sponsoring you. If you don't work on this shit, it will come back because it's a never-ending disease for some of us. And that was the hard thing for me to face, because for most of my life, I thought the weight was just the weight or was just a laziness or morality issue, like a lot of us had. And it was hard to realize it's also a medical issue. And if I don't take it as seriously as that, then it will walk right over me.
Yeah.
And the weight started coming off again the minute I started being honest with myself, tracking my food, drinking my water, and treating it like the mindset needed to change, and that the food noise needed to be addressed as a symptom of a bigger disease. And if I don't treat it like that, then it wins. And there are days that are easier than others.
Oh, for sure. You keep saying, you know, to be honest with yourself, and Rob said to be honest with yourself, and Shay, I mean, that's a big thing that I think we just all need to own up, because, you know, it's one thing. I remember when I started this process, a lot of people would say, trust the process, trust the process, trust the process. And I freaking hated it. I hated that. I'm like, what process? Because I didn't know my process yet. you know,
Mhm.
and then once you become honest with yourself and you see what your specific process is, and for me, it wasn't until I mean, I went through all um, the body dysmorphia type stuff, and that was like that was mind blowing. And then when the weight, I was starting to get concerned because I got down to 167, and I was like, oh my god, am I going to stop losing weight? Because that's a thing, right? And then I started gaining weight, and it's like, okay, now am I going to stop gaining weight? And then no, I'm not going to stop. What else is going on here? You know what I mean? And then you just got to be honest with yourself and realize like the weight wasn't the problem.
Yeah.
And when you can say that to yourself and look in the mirror and really be honest and say the weight wasn't the problem, it's my habits, it's my desire, it's my for me it's my will to live, it's my depression, my anxiety, my stress, you know. So once you start looking at those, that's when your process starts to make more sense.
Yeah.
Because then you can treat that process as you're going along. And now, you know, 4 years, here I am 4 years. Yeah, you know, this weight gain is super humbling. It's extremely humbling. Not that I came in and said like, oh, look at me, I'm losing all this weight. You don't know what you're talking about, and I'm not going to gain it back or anything like that. I expected the weight gain back. I'm not saying, because I never heard you say that, you know, but you know, but some people do. I remember watching some videos and just telling me that I'm lazy and all these other things. It's like, I know I'm not lazy. I'm a hard worker. You know, I've got good work ethic. I know I'm not lazy. What I don't do is love myself, give myself enough grace, give myself enough credit, and I'm not honest with myself. And then once you
that circles back to the mental health, because again, clinically, they're proving time and time again, it's newer research, and I'm glad it's finally coming out, that obesity is linked to trauma, to neurodiversity, to AD, to depression and anxiety, because people, when you don't, and see, and I have subtypes of anxiety and depression. It's not the same as chemical anxiety and depression that other people deal with, but I have the subtypes for my own. It's like kissing cousins. And I'll tell you, it's really, really hard when you can barely get out of bed to give a shit to shower to feed yourself properly.
Yeah.
And then, so you're setting, you know, and then you tell yourself, I'm lazy. What a piece of shit I am. I didn't do what I was supposed to today. And then that feeds the cycle.
Sure.
And then it does it even more. And then there's also, I call it the ultimate death spiral is, I spent 20 years sitting in obesity. And when I caught myself sitting all the time again, all the time. And so again, now I find myself like constantly reminding myself to get up and park further away and walk, because a body in rest will stay in rest. We spend a lot of time already sitting down, and I've only got so many years until I'm going to be forced to sit down again.
Yeah.
So let's and it also, it sounds sick, and it is, when you're in the middle of it, it doesn't feel like it's going to work. But when you start to move and you keep moving, then it just gets easier. And the days that you don't want to move, you push yourself through, and then there will be less days. And again, it sounds so Hallmark card. And if one more person says it to me when I'm in the middle of an episode, but then when you're not in one, you turn around and say it because it's true.
Yeah.
It really is. But also, you know, it's just more and more, you just have to treat it as a component for a disease. We didn't get to where we were to need surgery without it being a very holistic, whole packaged issue.
Yeah.
99.9% of us did not just get there because we couldn't put the fork down.
Yeah.
If we could, we wouldn't have suffered for years in obesity and dieting and culture. And all the years of yo-yoing before, I don't, even want to recall. And then there's also parts of the community. It is hard to talk about. Like, I hit 130 and realized I overshot and purposely regained to 140, 145. And I sat there for a couple of years, but a lot of people were convinced and would tell me in my DMs that if I regained the weight, I would keep going. And they didn't understand at the time that I had shot too far, and I was fighting to come back from that because I had realized I had taken it. I've gotten at 130 with all my loose skin. I have another 10 pounds of skin, guys. So like, I was sitting really in the 120s, and even at my height, I was tired all the time. I was getting groggy. I was getting dizzy, and I couldn't understand why until I finally went to a doctor who was like, "You shot the moon." And I thought they were exaggerating. I really did. I ignored them for another month until I was getting dressed and I was putting a shirt on, and I caught it in the bathroom mirror that you could see my rib cage through the back.
Yep.
And I was like, I went too far. And there's
I think a lot of us do.
Yeah,
I think a lot of us
because you're scared. I was so scared to purposely gain it back. I was like, that's the last thing in the world I want to do is purposely. But I realized that I was under eating and over exercising because it was easy to do.
Yeah.
And in the long run, it was going to shoot my metabolism. I'm glad that I have a very nice dietitian who emailed me and was like, this chronic under eating that you think is making you successful is going to crash your metabolism and you're going to be miserable in a couple of years when you can't eat because you've trained your body to stay there.
Yeah.
And luckily I listened to him and pumped the numbers up. But, you know, it's still, and then when you regain on accident, it's a whole nother feeling now. That's another, when the pants get tight and the dysmorphia kicks back in. And then I don't understand why I have dysmorphia both ways, though. I swear when I was fat, I knew I was big, but I did not know how big I was.
Interesting. Yeah.
Ouch.
Mic drop.
Yeah.
Oh,
that hurt. Oh.
I was,
Whiplash. Oh
my goodness. Jumped right off. It jumped right at me. I saw it. Oh, sorry.
But it's interesting too, though, because, you know, even when you talk about, you know, overshooting, I think that happens to a lot of us. It happened to me for sure. And I think from the point of view of us going through what we were going through and doing what we were doing, right? Like, there are so many factors that lead to us overshooting. I think for me, I know a big part of it is like, holy shit, I can move. I'm not walking with a cane. I can do all these things and I love it. And I have so much fun doing it. And I'm enjoying it and I'm seeing results and I'm doing all these things. And then you take a step back, you know, 3 months down the line, you're like, holy shit, I look sick. I do. I went too far, right? And then it's a matter of us really being able to, because I remember someone had, you know, had that conversation with me and said, you know, you've, you know, are you gonna keep losing because you've lost, I think, too much? And then in my head, I'm like, no, come on, I'm, you know, I'm not where I want to be yet. And it's interesting how a lot of the different things sort of form our judgment about ourselves, about what other people are saying, when, you know, that person was telling me something from an honest place of concern, but, you know, based on our experiences and where we're coming from and our capabilities, like it sort of clouds that, right? I know it did for me.
I'm lucky that I have a spouse that I trust is my final judgment call. So if he actually came to me and complained about my body in any form, I would take it very seriously, because this is a man who, through 375 to 130 and everything in between, has literally never said anything about my body that was not supportive or necessary. So I'm lucky that when I decided to turn it around, I told my husband, you know, I think I overshot it. He's like, well, I'm glad you came to that conclusion, because he's like, I was about to talk to you. I didn't know what to say. He's like, I wanted to give you space to figure it out. But like, you know, I had seen it. But it's also, I think for women, it was there's a lot of positive attention to becoming small. And I had never been small before. I went straight from like small, skinny, where you're not really aware of your body, to boom, big in puberty. So like, I never really had a skinny phase that I remember. So I think some of that was also addictive to me, to be honest, even though I was happily married and it wasn't even about that. I just liked honestly, some of the biggest attention came from women, not even men, to be honest. My friends would just gush at me. And it's strangers in public are nicer, shopping. I was getting bonuses at work. Like, I mean, and it's all linked. It is.
I agree. I agree.
But it can be kind of addictive to keep on that race forever, where you want to be the smallest and the fittest and be the weight loss. And also I started to have an identity crisis of like, where am I without the weight loss? So now that I've lost the weight, what do I do?
What is there to focus on, or what
I've
goals?
never, I think I went on my first weight, like I started Slim Fast at 12, 13. So, I mean, when was I not on a diet? So to actually get to goal was almost terrifying, because then you're like, what do I do with all this energy? And to be honest, guys, you should be using that energy to make new habits and make a new life. Stop thinking your old self is going to enjoy this skinny life with you. They're not. That was a hard thing too. I had to kiss her goodbye. That's why I always make all the videos where I talk about, I love my former self. I love her, but she died to make me. And if you think that your fat self is going to come into this journey and enjoy being skinny with you, you need to turn around and kiss that ghost goodbye and let them go, because they sacrificed themselves on that table to get you here.
Yeah. And there's a
And
lot
if
of
they hadn't,
grief.
you wouldn't have made it.
It's true. And there's a lot of grief in that. And I think that's been one of the biggest emotions and things that has surprised me in this journey is lots of different grief. And I think that's one of them, is that grief of self and really becoming a new person. And there are certain things that I look back on, and it's not even like I miss how I was. It's more of just I look back on like from more of a compassionate way on myself. And it's just like almost like looking at like a child or somebody that I care about. And it's just like, oh man, like she didn't see how worthy she was and how valuable in that moment, even though she was the whole time. And I don't know, there's a lot of grief in the process of moving forward.
I also want to tell her she's right. It's not in your head.
Yeah.
A lot of it's because you're fat. A lot of it's because you're fat, Fiona. Like I wish I could go back in time and be like, you're not crazy. You're not. I like, and again, it sounds like I'm focusing on a negative, but it's just, I don't know. I would definitely go back and say that to her, that she's not crazy, but also, have a lot more compassion for her and just let her know that there's so much. I didn't even realize how trapped in my body I was until it started coming off. Like I yo-yoed enough to kind of know, but when I really got under 200 pounds for the first time, that was the first time I really felt my body go, oh,
Yeah.
and wow, your knees.
Yeah, everything.
My knees. They they haven't forgiven me for trying to dance like it was the thousands while being over 300 pounds. But it's, if anything though, I sound so dramatic, and I don't mean to be such a negative Nancy, and I don't want to be. I'd rather sound passionate than negative.
That's how I'm taking it, just so you know. I'm not hearing it.
Yeah.
In a
I hope
negative
so. I hope so. Because I
think it's just
want
being
my,
honest.
if anything, I just want my OG self to be able to scream behind me. The mindset I will save you so much time. Therapy and mindset.
Yeah.
Therapy and mindset. Just get it, and watch for those maladaptive coping mechanisms, because again, we survived a lot more than we like to pretend through food, and it's going to come out somewhere.
Yeah. And especially for women, it's very common that we're diagnosed with certain neurodiversity or disorders and things later on in life. And you kind of alluded to this a bit earlier, of like, we are just really good at masking and finding alternate ways to cope. And one of the things because I got diagnosed with ADD, I think I was 24, 25, around there. Definitely after college, because I remember when I started on medication for my ADD going, oh my gosh, like this is how it feels to be able to focus and get stuff done. Oh my gosh, this would have been so helpful for school. I didn't realize how hard it was because I didn't know any different. And I love talking with people who are in the process of potentially getting an ADD or ADHD diagnosis, or kind of starting to ask questions. And because it's just so funny where I can say the way you're thinking, it's actually a lot easier for other people. Your brain, it works differently, or, if they're in the process of getting diagnosed, it's not because you're crazy or you don't know how to do things or you're incompetent. Your brain is just wired differently. And if you know that, then you know what things you can do to cope differently in more of a healthy way. You can take medication if that's something you want to pursue to help with different things. And it's oh, I'm not broken or weird. It's just your brain just works a bit different, and that's okay. I think that's really cool. And some of the people that I love the most are on the autism spectrum, have ADD, ADHD, or my ADHDs, like you, Fiona, because you guys really are you have such beautiful gifts of being honest and real and so genuine and kind. And I don't ever have to worry or wonder are they hiding something from me, or are they just pretending to be one way to me? I know. And to me, that's very comforting and gives me a lot of safety. And that's why I love you.
You mean like me and poor Rob, where I just walk up to him at JB White? I'm like, "You're gonna have me on the show eventually, right?"
I'm
Like
like, oh,
I'm just gonna remind you until eventually I get my way. Bye.
I was so blindsided because I'm half drunk or full drunk, probably
Was
full
this
drunk.
before? Was this
I guess
before or after you fell asleep on the toilet?
This is before.
Okay.
Before.
This is before when I could actually walk.
Okay.
I just finished having my boob tattooed at this
Mm-hmm.
point. I'm trying to find my jacket. I turn around and she's like coming right at me. I'm like, oh shit, I did something. What
You're
did
in
I do? What did I do?
trouble.
Yeah.
I wasn't trouble. I was on a mission.
You were on a mission. You were just like, I'm gonna be on the show. I'm like, yes, you will. And so yeah, even when we were talking about all, the scheduling and everything, like that moment was seared into my brain. So they're like, okay, what are we doing? I'm like, Fiona.
We're bringing
Fiona.
her on.
She needs to come on.
And truly, Fiona, like we wanted to bring you on for a while, but boys, can you back me up on this? That like just schedules and stuff. It's been like fly by the seat of our pants. Oh my gosh.
Fly by the seat of our pants. We're just like, oh Shay, what do you think about Fiona?
For like the whole year, I feel like we've been fly by the seat of our pants. Just
we
a
have
little
actually.
bit.
We have.
I like to joke that I'm the weirdest guest to have on though, because I can talk about anything and nothing. So it just kind of depends on what you want. I'm not really selling anything, so I don't really have like a niche market drive. So it's more of just like, what do you want to talk about?
That's again like one of the things I love about you too. You're like, okay, we have to get like a specific topic, or else I'm just gonna squirrel out. Or you said something like that, and I'm like, I love that you know yourself well enough.
I did
say that. I'm like, and so I even told the guys, I'm like, okay, we're gonna give Fiona a specific topic because sometimes we just freeball it, and just kind of see what comes up. But I'm like, no, this is great, and that's one of the things that I love how active you are and how much you voice the mental health side of things and the neurodiversity pieces.
I wish people had seen me before I started getting diagnoses though, so they should know that the reason I'm so loud is I drowned in silence, guys. I had a very successful career. I was so put together. I managed other people's lives daily. Yeah. But then would get in the car that smelled bad because for the 4th time I left my groceries in the back seat again.
Oh.
So like, I mean, it's like, so just I wish people knew that like you can be so functional and on it and people don't know how much. Everybody made fun of my planners. They're like, you're so type A, Fiona's so type A. I'm not type A. If I am not rigid with the way I write things down and plan, it won't get done. It's probably why I should have been diagnosed sooner. But it's one of those things that like, so, you can hide in plain sight. So for people who just like, again, I spent years going, I'm just dumb. I just don't get it.
Yep.
And not understanding that sometimes stuff's just on hard mode.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Some people have a different, and even those on the easiest level still have a bunch of hurdles and bullshit to work through. And they're still working on their mindset and they're still working on things like that. So I'm loud with it though, because I know for every 1 or 2 people who are willing to talk about, there's 10 more in absolute silence who think that they're alone or just aren't comfortable bearing it all like me. I'm just one of those people who chose to, in my healing, I decided very early on I was going to live such a truthful life. It was going to be weird and uncomfortable because the world doesn't live that way. But I live a life that I literally, just like you said, my motivations are always clear because I literally don't really lie, guys. I mean, I'll be nice if I don't like your haircut kind of thing, but
was that direct?
I have tact. No,
I got it. No worry. You don't need to say anything else. You got it. Don't worry. We understand.
I have tact, but like, rest in peace. That's the last time Shea ever has her on the show.
Oh,
but and you just, and I hope that people reach that radical truth at least with themselves though. Because again, you're going to need it on this journey because no one is going to hold you accountable but you. Yeah. No one really knows if you're putting in the effort or not, but you.
Mm-hmm. And I also
no one knows.
I also want to validate too, and I say this a lot because I think it's just a good reminder, like a lot of the things that we're learning after weight loss surgery, but especially too, if you're on that neurodiversity spectrum and you're learning how to function in life and do things that make sense for your brain, like many of us were not taught how to do that as kiddos because, our parents were dealing with their own things and, lots of different reasons for that. And so we're having to learn that for ourselves in adult situations though that have higher stakes where it's like learning that as a kid of like how to organize things. It's like, okay, your room doesn't get clean big whoop, right? But as an adult, it could mean, you know, leaving hundreds of dollars of groceries in the car, or, you know, there's bigger consequences that can be more severe. And so if it feels hard, it's because it is hard. And not only that, but if you also have kids that you're trying to teach and help them navigate either just being a kid, or if they have different diagnoses as well that you're trying to teach and walk them through, like, that's a lot. And so give yourself a pat on the back because many of us are cycle breakers and are learning how to do that for ourselves so we can teach and help our kids better. And it is really hard, and it does get better, or at least it has for me, because you can learn and make different decisions and do things different and go, oh, and then things start to click a little bit more. And it's just kind of like exercising different muscles, right? Like, it gets better the more that you practice it.
Well, and a common theme among the obese, at least in all my years of being in the community that I've noticed, is we didn't invest in ourselves and self-love much, and we couldn't. And so with this tool, we decided to, probably for the first time, radically, for the first time, decide I have to put myself first. Now, at first it's for the healing, but in general, you have to put yourself first in this process. But it also taught me that if you can't do it for yourself, do it for those around you. Like, there are times where I really don't want to make the best choices for myself, but I do it because I have a kiddo I want to see grow up. As cliche as it sounds, I have a spouse that wants to grow old with me. I have friends who want to, you know, kick it with me. And so if you can't find, on the days that you just like can't invest in yourself, then you know what? Feel free, grab somebody else, grab a friend. You know what? Fiona's going to be disappointed if you don't at least try to drink your water today. Like, if that's what it takes, then do that. And, you know, like I said, there are going to be days where your own self isn't going to be enough. As much as that, you know, we're not supposed to say that, we're not supposed to do that. Then do it for whoever else you love a little bit more than yourself. Do it for your dog. You know, like, it doesn't matter. Whatever it takes to get yourself drinking the protein, up and moving, getting your water. And beyond that, when you're past those early stages and you're more healed, in over and over and over again, you wake up and you choose to fight for your fucking self. Because when you stop fighting for yourself, you backslide. And it's been a hard lesson that, again, I sound so Hallmark card, but I have had to learn, and it has been months of choosing myself every single day.
Yeah.
And it's a slow grind. It has not been a fast 40 pounds. I am very annoyed that I did not sneeze and lose 40 pounds. What did you know? But, you know, you just, as long as you can make that investment and choice every day, you'll be okay. No matter what's in front of you, no matter what's behind you, no matter what you've got coming up next. If you just decide every single day that you're going to do whatever choices you can to be stronger and healthier the next day, you'll be better off. And
Mic
again,
drop.
Yeah.
Yep.
Knock your phone off again.
For dramatic effect.
Right. It's just, you know, but that's been the hardest thing. I stopped choosing myself. And I think that's the biggest takeaway from all of that is I stopped choosing myself and I stopped treating it like a disease, and it came back to bite me in the ass. Yeah. And so the community, I think in the community, sometimes I know some people have kind of told me that I'm it sounds kind of mean, but they told me I'm a warning story, and they meant it as a compliment, even though it's kind of a backhanded one. And I know I've had other people kind of tell me that too. And I guess in a way I am. I'm not the bounce back fast story. I'm the story of what happens when you don't choose yourself and you don't choose to fight.
Well, I think that's what's so cool though about everybody having a different story and sharing it is like, I know that there's other people who have experienced the same things you have. I have, like, all of us have in different ways. And I think that's really cool. Like, and so I don't know that I would see it as a warning story, but like, I know if I was in that position where I had a baby and experienced regain and didn't have access to GLP-1 medications, you would be somebody I would find so much solstice in, because it's like, oh, there's other people who are in that same position. And it just feels good to not be alone in that, you know?
And hopefully I can prove that when you start making the choices and the steps and the decisions again, it will realign.
Yes.
I'm not going to lose. Actually, I was a slow and steady person, even with my surgery. I was very like slow and steady wins the race. I wasn't a massive numbers person. But you know, it won't, it didn't happen overnight, as cliche as it is. It won't slide off overnight. But, you know, my takeaway is keep choosing yourself. And if you backslide, just know it's not over. The minute you decide it's not over, it's not over. And we are the only ones who can choose that. I spent months with excuses. I spent months online not showing up properly, half lying my face off because I didn't want to really face that I hadn't buckled down. So that's, you know, when you do, you'll see it again. You'll feel it again.
Yeah.
You'll show up for yourself again. People feel it. People see it. And, you know, if anything else, at least come find me and I will probably tell you the same preachy story in my DMs as well. It might take me a while to answer depending on the day, but just know, I'm on TikTok, I'm on Instagram. I'm pretty friendly and I got lots and lots of advice. So if you're not following me already, you probably should be. And if you're not following them, why are you here? Like, is it really just for the Rob Bod shots?
I mean, that's usually we get a lot of like crossover. That's how he filters people. That's what he's selling his OnlyFans. So that's his angle, you know. But
100%.
Fiona, I'm curious.
I love it.
You were talking about a couple different things, like you were talking about like crock pot meals. Like, what are some other tools or things that you've learned about yourself more so on like the neurodiverse side and things that you've learned and how you set yourself up for success just in any aspect of life?
Some key takeaways are keep it simple, stupid. Just keep it as simple as you can. The more direct and simple it is, do not overcomplicate it. 2, it will never be Pinterest pretty. So don't even try. And that's okay.
Yes.
And 3, I got this one from Whole30, but I think it's actually kind of true, is the whole stop trying to make. I spent so much time trying to make unhealthy diet food so that I could find an excuse to eat something when in reality it probably would have saved me a lot of time and money to just have the single serving of cake and move the fuck on.
Yeah.
And I don't know, pair with a protein shake if you're really desperate to balance it out, I guess. Just those would be my 3 takeaways is keep it super simple, guys. Whatever works for you. Don't overthink it. Just get it done. It's never going to be pretty enough for Pinterest, so don't even try unless that's your profession. And last but not least, proving my diagnosis. I forgot what my last one was earlier.
That's perfect. Well, I'll add just a couple more and things that I've learned that are more general. And again, if you're in that neurodiversity spectrum, this might be helpful. I literally have a calendar pretty much in every room of my house for different purposes. So keeping things visual, I really do. Yeah, they all have different purposes. And it is so freaking helpful for me, especially the main one I use is the one in our kitchen. I have one on our fridge. That's more of our, what do we have going on that we need to keep eyes on for the month. And then I also have a weekly one on there to help with meal planning and stuff. So anything you can do, hey, having a cute kid like Marcus, super helpful.
He goes, hey, Shay, did you get a haircut?
Oh, ask him if he likes it. He'll be honest to me.
Do you like it? Liar.
Oh, he does.
Do you know who doesn't like it? Fiona. Because she had mentioned.
True. You guys are never going to let me live that down.
Never.
No, we got it. We always have to have something.
Every time.
But yeah, so keeping things visual. And then another thing that has been very difficult, but I've been really working on is instead of doing things all or nothing, just trying to do things a little bit at a time. And so even when it comes to laundry, dishes, I used to be the one where it's I would have laundry to do for a month where it would just be I'd have probably 10 loads waiting or I don't know, a lot. My husband has helped me a lot with that of just being able to do little things at a time. And so it's when your hamper gets full, just go try to just do one load. And then, and another thing, even just with laundry, it's I try to take it straight out of the dryer, fold it, and then put it away right after again, just to keep it in little chunks because it's I'm the queen and I know I'm not alone with this. I'm the queen of I'll just have it sit in the laundry basket, clean clothes for weeks at a time. And totally not saying this in a judgmental way because if that works for you, awesome. But now that I've been practicing it more, it's like that gives me a lot of anxiety when my environment is chaotic and crazy. But I've had to learn those processes of how to do that and what makes sense. And it takes time. And so not alone with that, if that's where you're at.
Show her. Can you see my giant calendar?
Yes. Oh, I
Right?
like how big it is.
It's
Mine's
literally, this is
way
okay.
smaller.
So this is the main. I like how he's laughing at us. This is the
that's
main one.
Beautiful. Look at my heart is like exploding with excitement right
And
now.
then I have a paper one as well that I carry with me. And I have to like, they echo each other and they have to.
Yes.
And digital doesn't work. Digital doesn't work.
Nope.
I've tried digital
I
a
have a
bazillion
planner
times.
as well.
It doesn't work. It has to be paper. I don't know why.
Oh, that is so beautiful. I'm gonna like Dylan's gonna come home. I'm gonna have another one in the house. It's gonna be like, oh my gosh.
It was $25 on Amazon. It's a roll tube one that you just flatten out. And I 10 recommend, especially with kids and all the schedules. It's just insane.
So nice.
But it's I like our schedule love. That's going to be our thing now, is showing off our planners and our schedules. Do you also set random timers? I can't be the only one with the random timers.
Oh yeah. Do I do timers?
I do timers.
I do mine's more like in my calendar, like for work related stuff. And so I don't do timers, but I do have I
do lots of timers.
Mm-hmm.
I do.
I do timers.
Yeah.
Come on, Murph. We're not alone. What weird things do you do that help?
I set timers for meds and stuff for like all the kids, for myself.
I have a lot of like timer to be ready for the be ready.
Wait,
right.
If you want a depression one that like is relatable, is one time I was in a slightly depressive episode and I decided to prompt myself to get out of bed. I put all my water cups on the other side of the room to force me to get up to go get my water cup.
No, like that's the stuff you need to that's just like parking far. Like you're forcing yourself to walk, like you're forcing yourself to do things. And one thing you had mentioned that I really, really like is, I think all of us or some of us get to the point where you're just like, prioritize yourself, do things for yourself. You're worth it. And 100% you are, and it's true. But if you're not feeling that at that current moment, I think it's okay to be like, okay, I'm not feeling that, but do it for someone else. Do it for someone that is important and that is still a priority, right? I think there's nothing wrong with that, especially if it's going to bring you back around to be like, yeah, you know what, I'm worth it, right? So I love that. I loved hearing that because
why do we have to judge our motivations?
Yeah.
Like when did it become like a moral and ethical thing to judge our motivations? If being skinny and hot is what motivates you that day, then that is what is motivating you. If it's for your longevity and your health, that's great. If it's to be closer to God, that's great too. Like whatever motivates you, just use it. We don't have to. I don't understand. I think it's because of being online for too much or too long. We don't have to explain it, and you don't have to justify it. Like as long as it's hurting.
I think Rob was the reason that people became judgmental. I think he was the one that set that in motion in law, and you. So I think just if you want to track where it came from, I think that's where it came from.
See, I thought it was Murph because he's got that silent judge. Look at that. He's got the dad, like the eye.
Such a dad. That's such a dad look right there.
I'm just here to support you guys.
Oh, it's such a dad thing.
Anything. What do you do?
I just want to support you in making the right decisions right now.
I'm never gonna be angry. I'll just be disappointed. Come on, Murph.
God. That right there, it like triggered memories and trauma.
Holy We don't have time to unpack all of that tonight.
No,
sorry, my friend.
No.
That just means you have to have me on again.
Back. Exactly. We'll have to have you back to unpack all of that.
God, like it. Speaking of unpacking, my child is scrambling for me to come to dinner, so I'm actually going to run away and let you guys wrap this up.
That sounds good.
Thank you so much. You have a fantastic night.
Thanks for being on, Fiona. Love
Bye,
you so much.
That was awesome. Thank you.
Oh, that was great.
That was great. I really enjoy it. Hi.
What is going on here? This is so our internet is we're getting a new internet.
She's like, hide. Oh, you can't see me. You can't see me. No, I just ran in a circle. You can't see me now. I like the lean.
Let's just all.
So I had to come out here.
Hey.
Hi. Say hi, everybody.
Hi.
Say hi.
Hi.
I'm not trying to do a podcast or anything. Jeez.
So you guys, now you've learned you have to be nice to me because Fiona said. That's what I
Oh
took
yeah.
away from all of this.
No, she never said that. But
Yeah.
Shay, I'm always nice to you.
I know. When I say it generally,
always,
I'm talking to Rob.
I'm
true.
always the nice one.
That's right.
I agree. I agree with that sentiment. You are. That was I actually I really enjoyed that episode. I really enjoyed having Fiona on, and really I think it really hammers home the whole idea that, everything is cumulative, right? The work that we do early on is what dictates everything else. Is she dancing in the back?
I don't know what she's doing. Get out of here. We're trying to have a serious conversation. Oh my god.
You do you.
You do you, boo.
Oh, she was taking shoes. She was putting shoes on.
Oh, okay. I thought she was dancing. I'm just like,
No,
oh.
that's where the shoes are. So she was putting shoes on. Yeah.
But yeah, like everything is cumulative, right? Like, so all the work that you do early on ends up leading on to how you utilize it later on. And as Fiona mentioned, like it doesn't stop there, right?
Yes.
Your tool doesn't stop there. It manifests in different areas and different times where it will come back. And you said this earlier, Murph, just, you know how to do it. You know what to do. And there are times where we don't need to fall back on our tool or the things that have helped us. But then there are times where it absolutely will need to take precedence and it will have importance. And being able to do that is really, really important. Know that that's a tool in our toolbox that we can use, right?
Ultimately, you are the one that has to answer to
Yeah.
you. You're the one that has to live with these consequences or these choices that you make, whether it's a good choice or a bad choice.
Mm-hmm.
There are choices that affect others. Me being in a wheelchair affected my family.
Sure.
But if I'm unhappy with my body when I look in the mirror, or I'm unhappy, not so much with the scale because I don't really care about the scale anymore. But if I'm looking in the mirror or if I'm doing something, it's like, oh man, I'm out of breath. I didn't used to be out of breath, and now
Yeah.
I am. Maybe I should do something about that. The only person I can be pissed off at is myself if I don't do it.
Yeah.
You determine your happiness. It's not.
Yep.
That's really all it is. And if you want to be happy, then with that happiness is going to come positive, good, healthy mental health.
Yeah.
People that are happy. What is that? What is that line from Legally Blonde? Happy people don't kill their trainers or something like that. Like,
yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? Like,
Yep.
you just, when you're happy, you don't make these statues.
We're watching Legally Blonde in
Legally
Toronto.
Blonde. It's one of the greatest. Don't see Legally Blonde 2. It was awful.
Yeah, the
I've
first
seen
one
them.
is good.
I've seen them. My wife.
Be happy. Do what makes
Well,
you happy.
And speaking of being happy and moving your body and all of the good things and mental health, Murph, do you want to tell everybody who our guest is next week and what we can look forward to?
Oh, I am so excited.
Me too. We have to wear workout clothes next week, guys, okay? Like sweatbands, like the whole nine.
Oh, shoot. Okay.
Oh, now Rob's going to wear his spandex again.
Now I'm going to wear spandex.
Well, that's like every week, so not really that
If I
different.
stand up, I'm not even wearing bottoms, right? So we're good. See?
No. Only fans.
So next week from Australia,
Woo!
we have Kat is going to be joining us. Kat, Kat, and her handle is
Psychercise.
I always got to think about it. Psychercise. So she implements something I've never seen before, taking the mental health aspect into the gym and doing what's comfortable for you in the gym. And I might even be botching this, but that's my takeaway from it. I want to learn more. So we invited Kat to join us next Wednesday. Of course, we're going to have happy hour at 8:30, and then we're going to talk to Kat from the land down under. I'm super excited.
I'm so excited. Yeah. I'm excited for that one. And it's so cool, like, because May is Mental Health Month awareness, and Mental Health Awareness Month. And so it's cool. We got to talk about that tonight. And the next week we'll be marrying Psychercise. We'll be marrying mental health and exercise. Super excited for it.
That sounds exciting.
It's exciting.
Exercising.
Exercising.
Oh,
God.
on that amazing joke, let us leave it there. Thanks, Fiona, for joining us and sharing all your wisdom, sharing your story as we had mentioned. And of course, thank you guys for joining us on another episode of the Waiting Table Podcast, where we're serving the weight loss community
1 pound at a time.
Dance out.
I don't hear the music.
No?
Oh,
Oh, that's funny.
You don't have it in
maybe
here.
you need to.
You don't have it in here.
There, you need your hearing checked.
Oh, shoot. He just called you older.
Next week I'll have better internet. Thank God. So,
And maybe better hearing.
Yeah.
We'll see. Never mind.
Bye, guys.
yeah.